Hey YouTube, Freedom for Kaz here. How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Today is Valentine's Day, February 14th. I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. So there you go. Today's video is clues for the next false flag that could be coming. Clues for the next possible false flag. Well, the Super Bowl was just a disaster. The game kind of sucked, and I don't think anybody expected that much of a lopsided win, but I know I certainly didn't. But the Super Bowl halftime show was rather interesting. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Kaz, why are you talking about the halftime show now? The Super Bowl was almost 2 weeks ago. Well, that's right. It was almost 2 weeks ago. But my point is that I wanted to do some research about the halftime show during the Super Bowl, because it was very clear to me when some things were brought to my attention, and it was very clear to some other people that there were definitely some clues that were missed during the Super Bowl halftime show. And in fact, I missed a lot of those clues too. So that's why I took some time to kind of go back and research the halftime show. And what I came up with was a possible scenario, again, keyword possible, scenario for the next false flag that could be coming up in the very near future. Now, there were clues throughout the entire halftime show, but some of the early clues that really stood out to me were this. Okay, number one, there were, it basically started out with a lot of kids on the stage and they were singing, and behind them was a digital display. Okay, and when the kids first started singing, that digital display was completely white. Okay, now white generally is a sign of surrender, or it means peace. So that right there was a little interesting to me. And immediately following the white display was the American flag waving in the wind. Again, behind these children as they were singing and acting out the skit that they were doing for the halftime show. And then for about 2.7 seconds, the word prepare shows up. And it's in a reddish type hue. And it was there for about 2.7 seconds, and then it disappeared. And then over the top of the kids is primarily red spotlights, or as you want to call them, laser lights, and then there were some white flashes going on, and then the red turns to white, and then the extravaganza halftime show continues. The band that was first came out was Bruno Mars, and then Red Hot Chili Peppers came on for a couple of songs. And that was pretty much the gist of the halftime show. So the clues are very evident. The clues are the children, the white backdrop, or the digital display, the American flag waving in the wind on the digital display, the word prepare behind the children again in red, for about 2.7 seconds behind the children. We have Bruno Mars and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Those are the 6 main clues that we have, and I'm going to show you how everything ties together, because everything does have a connection. We all know, all too familiar, the shootings that involve children here in the United States, and most of them are indeed false flag events. So with the children being on stage first with the white backdrop, then going to the American flag, and then going to the word prepare, that tells me right there in those 4 clues there is something that's going to be coming up in America that's going to be involving our children yet again. But when is the answer, or is the question? And I do believe that I have a possible time frame as to when this is going to happen. And here, if you follow the rest of the video, I will explain that in good detail. So my theory is that something's going to happen with American children coming up in the very near future. Now, if you know anything about astrology and anything about Satan, the ram is the sign of Satan. Ironically, the ram is also the sign of Aries, which is what I am. And being the sign of Aries, it's very, very interesting how all this ties together, because Bruno Mars was the first person to sing. And in the sign of Aries, the planet Mars is connected to Aries. What I also find interesting is the Red Hot Chili Peppers also sang, being the first word red, and the word prepare was also shown in a reddish hue. And while the kids were singing, the primary color above them was red. The other thing that links to Aries is its color, red. I find this utterly amazing that the first singer, Bruno Mars, the planet Mars, is associated with Aries, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, the color red, is also associated with the sign Aries. So we have the ram, the color, the planet, the children, and the digital display behind the children. I find this very, very interesting. So what is the time frame of Aries? The astrological sign of Aries runs from March 21st to April 19th. Which is also very interesting because on April 15th, we're supposed to have a blood red moon in the sky. This is just my theory, and these are just facts that I've actually pulled out of the halftime show. So to just review again, we have the kids with a all-white digital display behind them, which then turns into the American flag, which then for about 2 seconds the word prepare shown in a reddish hue appears, and then it disappears very quickly. We have red lights over above the children. We have Bruno Mars with the planet Mars. We have Red Hot Chili Peppers with the word red. Both Mars and the color red are tied to the sign of Aries. The sign of Aries is from March 21st to April 19th. We have a blood red moon on April 15th. I don't know, leave your comments, tell me what you think. It's just a hunch, I hope I'm wrong. But I think they are showing us a sign about the American children.